Hola, this is the first take, and I just ate, so if my eyes are like, that's why. um, so it has been a while, and there is a lot to talk about, and I purposefully waited for a while to even think of recording this, because I noticed a pattern as I did. The whole deja vu thing with the cycles, still going on to an extent. And so I wanted to wait to see if things would move forward or if cycles would keep repeating. Spoiler alert, cycles kept repeating. So let's get to it. I've noticed that I have undeniably stagnated in my sadhana, unlike when I first initially started doing anything I learned from Sadhguru. When I first started, I could just make Upa Yoga happen. I could make Isha Kriya happen. I could make Shamavi Mahamudra happen. I could make anything I picked up, I could just make it happen. And I think that is partly because I was so accustomed to doing roughly an hour of meditation previously. Again, beating a dead horse, broken record. Before I did this meditation called The Mind Illuminated, Big Yellow Book, and I did that for a while. I think maybe 1 or 2 years. I was extremely consistent with it, and I became very accustomed to doing roughly an hour of meditation. And so when I stopped that and replaced it with Upa Yoga and Isha Kriya, which is roughly an hour, at least, yeah, it's roughly an hour. And I think there was one of the things in Upa Yoga I decided not to do. I think it was the back one where you kind of squat. Anyway, it was roughly an hour. And that was very easy for me to do because I was accustomed to roughly an hour. Then I added Shambhavi Mahamudra, and I could still do it. It's like roughly an hour and a half. And then I picked up Angamardana, and then that is where the stagnation first appeared. Because now I'm used to like an hour and a half of yoga and meditation. I can make that happen. Suddenly, 2 hours and a half, I can make that happen. And I know, or at least I am 99% sure, what I'm saying right now, I have already said somewhere, somehow in a previous video. My point is, of the things I am trying to do in the framework, I maybe will add it into this video. We'll see. Um, Initially, I wanted to try all of the practices in sadhana introduced by Sadhguru. First Upa Yoga, then Isha Kriya, and then a little more advanced. Then Shambhavi, then Angamardana, maybe Yogasanas, maybe Surya Kriya, because Surya Kriya, Yogasanas, and Angamardana, those are like the trio of advanced practices that I just wanted to make happen. And in my experience, Surya Kriya, I really don't think it's for me. Angamardana, I'm interested in making that consistent, very consistent in the future. Yogasanas, I am also very interested in making that happen in the future. But a step above those practices is like Shunya at the top, at least as far as I know, and then BSP, which isn't a practice, it's just an experiential program. And then at the very, very, very top is Samyama. That's the ultimate one that I'm trying to get to. And I heard that Samyama is going to happen at Triple I, Tennessee, somewhere 2023. Not rhymed. I wasn't even trying to make that happen. So here's the goal here. And here is the problem and a potential solution. I'm trying to make Samyama happen. And by that, I mean do the program, learn the practice, consistently do the practice. I have no idea how long it is or if it is a practice, question mark. It's probably better I go in blind somewhat, and I am somewhat blind. But back to the stagnation. For the longest time, I have tried to make Angamardana consistent. I have my times where wow, Angamardana, I can make this happen. I'm doing it today. I'm doing it tomorrow. And the day after that, I'm doing it 3 weeks in a row. I'm on fire. I can make this happen. And then one day, I eat something bad or I get poor sleep. And then I wake up that morning and think, let's do Angamardana. And my body says, no, we're not doing Angamardana. And it is in moments like this that I think, maybe I just need a little more willpower and it will work. No. Uh, I've had enough experience to know willpower isn't the answer for this particular situation. Like I said, of the trio, Surya Kriya, I tried, even got corrections for it. I think I'll put that on the back burner for a very long time for now. Angamardana interested in, but I can't be consistent with the practice. And Yogasanas I am interested in, but I am not gonna mince words. I was a little stubborn, and I just wanted to master Angamardana completely before I tried to be consistent with Yogasanas. Even though I did learn it, I wanted to get to the point where I can do Angamardana for 30 minutes perfectly, and I can do Yogasanas for however long that is every day. Angamardana and Yogasanas every single day. That that can't happen when you can't even be consistent with Angamardana. So no, that's not gonna happen. And I remember my Hatha yoga teacher said, you know, you should probably just alternate between Angamardana and Yogasanas. That's possible too. But nope, I had this idea in my head that I just have to master Angamardana. I don't want to alternate. I have to do both of these practices, Yogasanas, Angamardana, every day. I don't care how long it takes. I'm just going to master this thing and then add this other practice onto it every day. I can't make that happen. No matter how hard I seem to try, I have quite honestly stagnated, unlike in the past. And from what I've noticed, it's because of my environment. I may or may have not uploaded my ashram video, which gives some context onto why I was going to the ashram, why I went there. Essentially, it boils down to I noticed in my current environment, certain things, certain temptations keep coming up, like maybe junk food or something else. And when I eat junk food, obviously my body doesn't feel like doing Angamardana, and so I can't be consistent with that. I can't master it. I can't add yogasanas onto it. So here is what I have decided, because I know I'm stagnating because of my environment, and I can't make it happen. I'm gonna put away my silly ideas and just listen like I should have done in the beginning. I'm going to alternate between Angamardana and Yogasanas and see where that takes me. And additionally, something that I have noticed has been a barrier for Angamardana is certain mental and physical things. Of the mental things I've noticed is I just don't have motivation isn't accurate. It's something else that I can't quite describe, but a solution I have found is somewhere in the book Mystic Musings. There's maybe I'll put a picture up. There's an excerpt where Sadhguru talks about a specific sadhana where you think, what is my priority? What is it? You have to go beyond it or something like that. I'm missing words. That's not the sadhana. Please don't repeat that. I'm missing words very, very poorly here. But I know what it is, and I've been doing it, and it just takes care of the mental aspect and mental resistance to do Angamardana. So that is check. It's verified. At least in the long term, it seems to be something that is cleared as long as I consistently do that sadhana. For the physical aspects, it took me a very, very long time to pinpoint it. But I noticed that if my body is too lethargic in the morning, I just won't do Angamardana. Even if mentally I want to do it, physically my body won't let me do it. It won't allow me to do the practice, even if I have monumental amounts of motivation to do it. And recently, just like sitting alone in a dark room and contemplating why I haven't been able to make progress on this, even though it's extremely important to me, is it's the mental, no, not mental, it's the physical resistance to do the practice. But even deeper, I notice of all of the regions in my body, the most receptive region to doing hatha yoga are my legs. The torso and my back is neutral. My head, neutral, heading towards negative because, Shambhavi, the little, if you might know what I'm talking about. But 100%, the highest amount of resistance is coming from my arms. And like just closing my eyes and paying attention to which limbs and parts of my body are receptive to the practice. This probably sounds like nonsense, but for me, it's very real. I swear, when I pay attention to my limbs, my arms have the most rigidity and resistance to just moving and doing the practice of Angamardana. But my legs are just on fire, torso and back on, well, more so neutral, and my head is like neutral heading towards negative, but most of the time it's just neutral. So I thought, okay, if that's the issue, it's my arms, how do I fix it? It took a little bit more thinking, but it came to me, and I think the solution is going back to Upa Yoga. Specifically, going back to the directional movement. This thingy, the sideways, the forward, the upward, downward, that one. I think that's a solution to increasing my body's receptivity to doing Angamardana and successfully practicing both Yogasanas and Angamardana. Because if I haven't mentioned already, my body has zero resistance to do Yogasanas, but it consistently has resistance to do Angamardana, which I think is weird. Can't quite explain it, but from what I've noticed, most of the resistance comes from my arms. And I think I have the solution. It's been a few days. I've practiced it, and quite honestly, I do think, I do really think it's in my arms, and that Upa Yoga directional movement is the solution. Because after I did the directional movement, I was like, how are my arms feeling? Oh, wow. A little more receptive, at least from what I've noticed. Yeah. I think in the future, what I'm going to do is directional movement on top of what I'm doing, Bandha Grace, Shambhavi Mahamudra, Bhuta Shuddhi, and depending on the day, Angamardana or Yogasanas. But definitely every single day in the morning and in the evening, I will do directional movement and just experiment to see if it continuously upkeeps my receptivity, bodily receptivity to doing Angamardana. If things go smoothly like it has this morning, even though I got poor-ish sleep, still I could do one of the processes for Angamardana, which is good news. Some form of consistency is better than nothing. And so far, alternating, I've been able to do Yogasanas one day, like Monday, and then 2 days next, Wednesday, and then I can just make Yogasanas happen. So if my theory is correct, if I do Upa Yoga, directional movement, morning and in the evening, it should keep my arms in heightened states of receptivity to make Angamardana happen. And Angamardana is a preparatory process to make other processes happen, like samyama or Shambhavi Mahamudra, then if I can just make Angamardana happen consistently, everything else gets boosted. And then I'm like good. Then I'm good. Maybe this is the part where I cut because I'm trying to gather my thoughts, but that's essentially it. I've stagnated. A lot of it boils down to my environment. I've thought about it for a long time, and I think the solution was just to increase my receptivity for Angamardana rather than just trying to do Angamardana and, okay, maybe this day I live decently enough that when I wake up in the morning, I feel like it, or maybe not. I tried making it happen for a while. It just can't happen. I got poor sleep today, and I could still make a single process of Angamardana happen. And I believe that's because I made Upa Yoga directional movement happen morning and evening. So if I do the directional movement, I can be consistent with Angamardana. I'm repeating myself. I can tell I'm repeating myself. We're 16 minutes in. I think that's all I have to say. I think. If there has been anything else that I have missed, I don't know, but yeah, it's back to the basics. Back to the basics so that I can make the preparatory process of Angamardana happen and then not boost Shambhavi and all the other meditative processes. And really my goal is to just be consistent with sadhana. Even if I have to alternate, I'll put away my ideas of how I should live life and just listen to like Sadhguru and the Hatha Yoga teachers, because clearly they know what they're doing. They're making it happen. And yeah, I'd actually think that is it. I'll experiment with what I've said and see what happens. And next on the list is Bhavaspadana and Shunya, because those are prerequisites for Samyama, and I'm trying to make Samyama happen. So that's where I am on the whole becoming a yogi track. Gonna make all the Isha foundation practices happen. It's just a process. I have to put away my ideas of how things should be and just listen and just make it happen. And we'll see if that theory is correct. So we'll see if I upload that ashram video. Words are only whispers, and I don't